gonna compare a C8 Stingray versus a Lamborghini Huracan. Now, a lot of people like to throw around the word supercar when it comes to the C8, probably due to their mid-engine design. But today we're gonna compare the two and see what a real supercar is actually like. I'm 6'3", so you're gonna see how I fit in both cars. We're gonna go over some features, the sound of each car, and you know we're gonna drag race them. On paper, the C8 has a faster 0 to 60 time at 2.9 seconds, whereas the Huracan is 3.2. So buckle up, buckaroo, for a good video. Just kidding. Was that gay? Let's do that. So first thing, we're gonna quickly go over the storage. Now I can already tell you that one of these cars is gonna come out the true winner. So let's look at the C8. So you have actually quite a big frunk right here, but the coolest part about the C8 is the back. If you come look at the mid-engine, we got a bag in here right now, but you actually have another trunk back here, and apparently it's big enough to put a set of golf clubs. I think that's always been kind of Corvette's thing, is the golf clubs. The back latch is a soft close, which is super cool. Go down like that and it will suck it down itself. That was also gay. Now for the Lamborghini. What you see is what you get. It's kind of a bit of a mess. This is my octane booster in here, but that's all you get. So I have put a carry-on suitcase in there, and that is all you could fit, and it barely squeezed in. But let's go check out the interior of the Corvette. All right, so like I said, I'm 6'3", and in the C8, I fit very well. I can have my knees down, like if I'm driving, my knees are low. Headroom, it definitely is close, like the back of my head, kind of right around here, is tight. But if I kind of slouch a little bit or whatever, I never had too much of an issue. I will say, compared to the Huracan, I feel like I'm sitting a lot higher up than in the Lamborghini. Some notable mentions about this: paddle shifts on the C8 are located on the steering wheel, just like this. So they rotate with the steering wheel. Me personally, do not like that at all. Some people, they say they do like it that way. I don't like it. You have a little bit of storage right here. You got a little glove box right there. You have a little bit of storage in the doors. One of the benefits of the C8 though is right here in the middle, you have 2 cup holders, which is, you don't got any cup holders in Lamborghini. So that is a big positive of the C8. Both cars have digital dash, which is really cool. The C8 has a screen right here, a touch screen, whereas the Huracan, that's a 2015, so it doesn't have a secondary touch screen. I think in about 2020 maybe is when they switched. I don't know, correct me in the comments. So that's pretty much it for the interior. Now the price difference is crazy on the cars. This is a 2021 LT Stingray, so a base model Stingray, and I only paid about 75,000 Canadian dollars, whereas this is a 2015 Lamborghini Huracan, and I paid about $280,000. Another super cool feature of the C8 is that if you just unlatch this hard top, just like this, one person can easily do this. It's really light, and you can just take the roof off, and it actually comes back here in the trunk. So you lose your trunk space a bit, but it has places just like that, and it snaps in place. So it's solid, and you shut this, and now you are basically driving a convertible, not quite, but it's pretty cool. Whereas the Huracan, the roof does not come off. If you want a convertible, you have to get the Spider. This is not the Spider. Now let's check out the interior of the Huracan. So, as you can see in this car, if I'm driving, my position is like this, so there is a lot less room for my knees. I still find it's fairly comfortable. I think the C8 wins for comfortability for me personally. But I will say that my head here, I have more room here than I did in the C8, because the back of my head will kind of hit something up here, whereas in the Lamborghini I have more headroom, which is cool. The interior of the Lamborghini is absolutely beautiful, especially considering this is a 10-year-old car. Now see, when the steering wheel moves, the paddles, they stay the same. And I love that more than the C8, because with the C8, if you turn a corner and you're upside down and you need to shift, then you kind of have to think like, oh yeah, it's on this side to upshift instead of this side. Whereas they're always in the same position in the Huracan, which I love. Another thing about the Huracan that I had to get used to, but once I'm used to it, I love it way better, is the signal lights are right here on the steering wheel, just like a motorcycle. Also, your windshield wipers are right here on the other side of the steering wheel. One drawback to the Huracan, right here, there is no cruise control. Now, some Lamborghinis will have cruise control, but apparently it's an extremely rare option, whereas the C8, every C8 is going to have cruise control. Like I said before, we got a digital dash here. We also have a little screen right here, which will show that kind of control. It shows your temperatures and you can switch it for your climate. This also has the digital dash, which is super cool. It doesn't have another screen here. Like I said, the newer ones will have a screen here, but you have a much smaller glove box in the Lamborghini. You have a little bit of storage in the sides, less than the C8, and then this is almost useless. You can put a wallet in there. That's pretty much it. There is also, I think you could maybe use this as storage. I don't know. I've never put anything there, but it feels like you could put like a phone there if you wanted to. Really quick, we'll go over to the engine bay. Now, this car has carbon fiber kind of engine covers, which is cool. One thing I will say about the C8 versus the Lambo is that when you wash the car, it seems that all the soapy water and stuff will run through these vents and get all over the engine and make it dirty like this. Whereas if you come over and look at the Huracan, I haven't washed this engine bay in weeks. And I will say this has the forged carbon fiber engine kind of dressings, which looks super good. This is a V10, obviously the C8's a V8, but this engine stays a lot cleaner. And guys, I don't have all the specs memorized or anything. This is not like a Moto Trend car comparison. This is just a dude that has owned, well, currently owns a C8 and a Huracan, and it's kind of like more of my opinion of what I've noticed the differences are. The C8 is definitely higher off the ground. You scrape a lot less with the C8. Now, if you get a 2LT or anything above, you will have the front lift suspension. This one doesn't have it, and honestly, I never really saw that big of a need for it. The Lamborghini, on the other hand, it is actually lowered a little bit. I lifted it up when I bought it because it was too low. This does have front lift suspension. I think most of them in North America will have front lift suspension, but don't quote me on that. The front lift is a must-have in my opinion because I wouldn't be able to get into parking lots or driveways without it. Quick mention about the fuel. The C8 will take 91 octane, which is great because that's all we have where I live in Saskatchewan. Whereas the Huracan, I think it requires more like 94, 95, so I have to put a little bit of octane booster in. If you live somewhere else like Alberta, I find, or anywhere in the States probably has higher octane, so it's not as big of a deal. But that is one thing to note. So now let's do some fun stuff. We're gonna do a sound comparison. Now, this has a Borla Type S or S-Type exhaust, whereas the Lamborghini has a factory performance exhaust. So I say that's probably pretty comparable. We're gonna do some revs and we're gonna do some drive-bys. We're gonna start with the C8. So as you can see, the Huracan has a lot more of an exotic sound to it, and it just pops and backfires, and that's factory mapping. Like, there's no extra tune on. I know you can get burble tunes for the C8, and it will do a little bit of burble when you downshift kind of to second gear, but it's night and day difference compared to the Huracan. Now I'm just gonna do a couple drive-bys with different cars. Now let's listen to the Huracan. All right, now let's drive them. And I'm gonna just give you my opinion on the two cars. Buckle your seatbelt up, Josh. Come on, man. I'm not listening to that this whole time. So my first impression of the C8 versus the Huracan is that I am sitting much higher. I feel like, kind of similar to when I was in a McLaren, I just feel like I'm sitting up higher. I feel like it's narrower. It's more of like a go-karty feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm definitely up a lot higher. Like where I look out the window, my head is way higher than when you sit in the Lamborghini. Now, since this is a 1LT, it doesn't have any of the crazy suspension that changes, so you're in the same suspension mode all the time. All that really happens when you change from touring to sport to track is the shift points. But I will say that just the way this thing handles, it's definitely smoother on the road, but if you're trying to turn sharp, kind of like this, it definitely has a lot more kind of roll to it. But it's still a fast car. It just definitely doesn't feel to me as locked into the road. The brakes are definitely a lot weaker on this C8. These are just base model brakes. The Huracan has ceramic brakes, so they are ridiculously good. It's a very comfy car for a daily driver, but you are sitting up higher and it's a little more kind of tippy, if that makes sense. Again, just my opinion. I'm a blue-collar mechanic. I really don't know what I'm talking about. So take it with a grain of salt. Now we're gonna drive the Huracan. A little feature of the Huracan that I only found out about the other day is, see, they have these hooks. That's so you can shut the door without having to touch and get your fingerprints all over the paint. Do I actually do that? No, I grab it, but I just thought it's funny. All right, let's roll these windows up. So right away, when I get in, well, this is cool too. This is how you go in a Huracan. There's no drive. You literally just shift it. And then you can go in auto or manual, whatever you want, but I will say it's much louder in the Huracan than it is in the C8. Now I can put it in Strata mode, which is like touring mode, and that will make the exhaust a little bit quieter, but we don't want to do that. But right away, just getting into this car, I definitely feel a lot more solid. It's more rugged. It's more of a rough, you know, you feel the bumps on the road a lot more. It's just, everything about it is tighter. Listen to that downshift, like that's just insane. It automatically will rev match if you're on auto in sport mode. It's crazy. But yeah, going over here, we're a lot more rough over these bumps. Like that's way rougher than the C8. But if I go like this and we turn, like we are so much more locked into the road than with the C8. There is almost no kind of tilt with the suspension. It's just, you are flat and you can grip the road like crazy. And the brakes are just crazy. Like I'm barely even touching the brakes and we just stopped from like 150 kilometers an hour. I personally think this, I'm gonna smoke you in the C8, Josh. I think there's no way. I don't know. I think so. But yeah, again, it's just a more rugged, it's a whole different driving experience. You're driving a supercar. I can't really explain it other than that. Until you experience driving one of these versus a C8, then you'll be like, okay, it makes sense. Everything is tighter, rougher, but it's just such an amazing feeling. All right, now the moment everybody's been waiting for, we are going to drag these things down this abandoned highway. We got the GoPro on the C8 because we're pretty confident that the C8's gonna lose. So we'll get a good video of the Huracan winning. We're gonna use launch control with both of them. I'm just gonna do a countdown as loud as I can with the windows open, and as long as it goes well. If it doesn't go well, we might have to do a round two. And I think, how fast do you think we should go? Like 150, 160 kilometers an hour, and then
speed limit.
Speed limit. We'll go the speed limit. So it's not like a quarter mile or anything. We don't know how long this really is. We're just gonna go until we feel like we should probably start slowing down. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at these two cars, man. Again, 2.9 seconds for 0 to 60 and 3.2. This car is all-wheel drive. This is an LP610-4, which means it's an all-wheel drive model. This is two-wheel drive. Let's see what happens. Okay, the Huracan absolutely gapped the C8, but I want to do it one more time. Do you think that your start was good?
Oh, it was perfect.
Well, I think we should do it one more time just cause, but like that wasn't even, there's no way, in a 0 to 60, man, this thing clapped the C8. Like clapped the C8, no shot. So I don't know. Well, we're gonna do another one. Let's run it back. Okay, so that was round 2. I think you had a little bit better of a start that time, but I still gapped you. Like there's no question. Not even close. The C8, or sorry, the Huracan will smoke a C8 Stingray. Will it smoke a Z06? I don't know. It's definitely not going to smoke a ZR1, especially those new like E models or something. But a C8 Stingray, it'll gap that shit. My closing statements for this video. I don't want to downplay how amazing of a car the C8 is. For the price point, you get a mid-engine rear-wheel drive, sounds amazing, and you get an amazing driving experience. Maybe if you got a better model, like a 2LT or a 3LT, you could get the stiffer suspension, you get the front lift, that kind of stuff. Maybe it would be a bit better, a little bit better brakes. But I want to say that you cannot compare a C8 to a Huracan. This thing is night and day difference. If you ever get the chance to go for a ride in one of these guys, I highly encourage you to do it. This thing is a menace on the streets. It turns heads like crazy. The backfire, the popple, the crackle, everything, it's just a totally different experience. And it should be for an extra couple $100,000. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on another one. If you want to check me out on Instagram, it's Kyle Redicop. I'll link it down there. But thanks for watching.